Hi, I'm Cassidy Wood with Orange Media Network, and today we're going around asking students their opinion on this year's election. What are your general thoughts about this election?
I feel like it's been a reality TV series or something, and
Totally.
I've gotten really involved just because it's kind of like fascinating to watch.
I'm really excited about the campaign, especially for Hillary Clinton.
My general thoughts on the election, if anything, our election campaign cycle needs to be shorter. I think that a lot of people have been stressed out for a very long time about this election, and I don't think it should be that way.
Just want it to be over with.
I think this year's election is just a big joke, to be completely honest.
I think it's a bummer, and I'm ready for it to be over.
I think it's kind of been confusing for a lot of people.
Did you vote for someone then or against someone?
I definitely voted for someone. Yeah,
Okay.
which is really exciting, I think.
I would say that. I would say the less of two. I have seen different opinions from both sides, and they both have a lot of negatives to them, and they both have really strong opinions. And so I think that could be dangerous in a lot of different areas.
I definitely voted for someone. I think it's super important. Like, whoever you vote for, like, you need to make sure that they represent your values. You shouldn't be voting because you don't like someone or because you're in spite of them. That's not what this democracy is about.
A little both.
I did find one side that I thought was just a little bit better, and it's just like, all right, it's just like, and for me, it kind of made a huge difference about it. So I was like, all right, I can stick with this one.
So as the millennial generation, we make up most of the U.S. population. Do you think that's a good or a bad thing going into the polls, and why?
The millennial generation is probably the smartest generation to ever exist in mankind, so it really depends on which way they sway, you know? I mean, there's obviously smart decisions to go either way.
Good, because I do feel that a lot of the millennials definitely, I guess we're known as the next generation. So basically our generation, we have the power to actually choose the next president, which could be good because we're the generation that's kind of coming up.
If more people would turn out for voting, it would probably be a better thing.
In some ways, I think it's a good thing, especially for college campuses typically are more progressive. So I think that's a good thing. As long as we can get people to vote, I think that's really all that matters.
I think it's a good thing just because, I don't want to say I'm 100% a consumerist or a socialist, but I do think millennials lean towards socialism and kind of about caring about more people and kind of trying to take care of populations that are at risk or have a lower possibility of succeeding. So I think that millennials voting are going to vote mostly for Hillary, or they would have for Bernie Sanders. And I think it's a good thing.
We have our opinions, which is a good thing, but also that it's at times we're just like everyone else, we have a hard time listening to the other side because what we're doing is so right that we just don't want to open up and listen to other ideas for the most part. So I think, in all honesty, it's good or a bad thing. It's just like any other generation, I would say.
I think it's tough because the millennial population, while yes, we are larger than the baby boomer population, we also have a really low voter turnout compared to the baby boomer generation. So I think that ultimately, while it's nice that we are idealistic, the problem is that we don't really show that at the polls, and I think that that's really our greatest downfall as a generation.
I think it just depends. I think that it's good for young people to be involved, and I think that since we will be taking over kind of coming up here soon, it's good for us to know who's going to be in charge.
I think it's actually a good thing. We make up a large part of the population so we can influence the change for our future.
I think it's a sad thing because you have a good point. As millennials, we make up a good part of the population and we don't comprise a large part of the vote, unfortunately. Actually showing up at the ballot boxes. So it would be nice if more people would show up.